Hey everybody, what is going on? So welcome to the section where we're going to talk all about outbound funnels. And when I mean funnel, essentially what's going to happen is that when you start emailing people or when you start sending messages, you're going to have a funnel in mind in how you're going to take a complete prospect and someone who doesn't know you at all and doesn't know your company, and how do you turn them into an actual meeting so that you can talk to them and close a deal. Now here is how we're going to start things off. The first thing you have to know is that whether you're sending cold emails, which we'll cover in depth, or if you're using LinkedIn messages, which we will also cover, the foundations of how you actually do this are exactly the same. So whether you use cold email or LinkedIn messaging, the tactics and how you do it are different. However, again, the foundations in how you send your messages and the psychology behind it to get someone to respond to you and schedule a meeting with you are going to be exactly the same. So some of you guys, you might actually just purely do cold email and you may find that works great for your business, and that's totally cool. For other people, you might want to just use LinkedIn messages and not even use cold email at all, and that totally works as well. Or if you want to do both cold email and LinkedIn messages, depending on the prospect you're trying to target, that is also going to work. So again, whether you're using cold email, LinkedIn messages, or using both, foundations are exactly the same. Now, the first thing I want to do is define outbound, right? And so outbound, for the sake of this course, all it really means is that you're reaching out to another person. So that's very different from inbound, where for inbound, sometimes you would write a blog post or create a video, and then someone would be, oh, that's pretty interesting. They'll watch your video or read your blog post, and they'll send you a message, and then you can do a meeting like that. And so that's what inbound is, and that's not what we're going to cover in this course. Outbound essentially is just making a list of the people that you want to work with and sending them some type of outreach, whether it's a cold email or a LinkedIn message. And why outbound is going to be extremely powerful and time efficient for all of you guys is because you don't have to do any special thing. You don't have to spend time on marketing. All you have to do is make your list, write the right emails to these people, and then schedule a meeting. It is one of the most quickest way to see whether or not your product or service actually has product market fit, because it takes almost nothing to send an email or a LinkedIn message. So that's why for this course, we're going to focus strictly on outbound lead generation. Now, here's essentially how outbound lead generation is going to work, right? There's going to be two distinct phases. The first one is going to be research, and that covers everything from what kind of companies you should reach out to, who at these companies you should reach out to, and what value proposition do you want to offer these people. And then from there, it's going to move into step number 2, which is execution. Once you do your research and you know exactly the type of people you want to target, what are you going to write in your email or LinkedIn message? How exactly are you going to position your value proposition? How are you going to schedule that meeting? So essentially, again, 2 steps: research and execution. So essentially what you're going to do is you're going to keep cycling between research, execution, and you're going to keep doing that and iterating on this process until you really narrow down exactly what you need to say and do to get your ideal customer to take a meeting with you. Now let's go ahead and dive into research a little bit more. So obviously you are going to use your ideal customer profile that we covered in the beginning of the course, and that is really distinctly defining exactly who your customer is. From there, what you want to do is you want to think about, okay, so with this ideal customer profile, what kind of companies does this ideal customer work at, or do they own their own company? And sometimes if you're selling into a larger organizations, for example, if you're selling into Fortune 500 companies, you want to know the authority figures at that company, whether it's the director of marketing, VP of marketing, CEO, vice president of XYZ. So whatever your product or service aims to target, you need to know exactly who at these companies you need to send these messages to. And then from there, obviously you want to figure out what their exact email address is, or how you're going to connect with them on LinkedIn if that's the route you choose. And that's essentially the research part. All it is understanding the company, understanding who at the company you want to reach out to, and finding a way to actually reach out to them. So that's the research side. And then after that is going to be execution. So once you know who your company is, who you want to reach out to, and you know their email address, or you're connecting with them on LinkedIn, you want to send the first email or message, right? And then from there, the person that receives it is going to open it, and a certain percentage of people are going to open. Not everybody's going to open, and that's just how cold outreach is. And then from there, a certain percentage of people are going to respond, and then from there, another percentage of people who respond are actually going to want to schedule a meeting with you. So let's go ahead and give you an example. So let's say you make a list of 100 different companies and you send 100 different emails. Let's say 50% of these people actually opened it, which isn't too uncommon. Sometimes it could be 75%, sometimes it's less. It really depends on your industry and your product and everything like that. From there, let's say 15% of those 50 people actually responded, right? Some people are going to respond positively. Some people are going to respond negatively. And that's just how it works when you're doing cold email generation. And so let's say out of those 15 people that responded to you, right, wrote back to you, let's say 3 of them actually schedule a meeting. So from this example, from sending 100 different emails, you might find that 3% of the people actually schedule a meeting. And actually, that's pretty standard in industry terms, where you're literally sending a cold outreach email or a message to just random people that you feel fit your ideal customer profile. If 3 people out of those 100 actually take a meeting, that's pretty good, because if you want to get 30 meetings, all you have to do is send 1,000 emails, right? And especially if you're sending it in an automated way, this is actually just as easy as sending 1 email. And don't worry, throughout the course, we're going to show you how to do this, but I just want to give you an idea of how the execution side of sending cold outreach works. Again, it works for email and LinkedIn messages, or whatever platform that you're sending messages to people on. This is the framework you want to think. It's send, open, respond, and then people that actually schedule the meeting. And here's something I'll share with you guys. To succeed with outbound lead generation, you will need quality and quantity, right? When I say quality, that means that even you can send the same email to a lot of different people and people actually will respond. Believe it or not, you don't have to tailor every email for every single individual. However, you do have to tailor it for that industry, and you have to put in the work and really identify whether a customer will actually be a good fit for your product or service during your research phase. Now, if you're just sending random emails to everybody, obviously not a lot of people are going to respond because you do not have quality. So when I mean quality, you want to make sure you qualify as much as you can from the research perspective that you actually believe this person may actually buy your product or service. Now, once you got the quality side down, you want to look at quantity, because even if you have high quality emails that you're sending to people who are the right people, not everyone is ready to buy right there. So that's why you need to send a large quantity of emails, and I'm talking thousands, before you can actually get a real lead generation machine going where you're getting consistent meetings every single day. So quality and quantity are very important. And don't be scared that you're sending thousands of emails, because I'm going to show you a way to do this where, maybe you don't even have to send 1,000, maybe it's actually a couple hundreds to actually get some business going. Really, it's really not that daunting, because with the help of technology, this can actually be very automated. The work it takes to send 100 or even 1,000 emails could be as easy as sending 1 email. All you have to do is know how to use the technology. So again, to succeed with outbound lead generation, you got to have quality, you got to have quantity. Now, the thing is, the more emails that you send, or more cold messages, whether it's LinkedIn or cold emails, the better you will become, only if you learn from each campaign and how to increase the conversion. So you can't just keep sending emails and expect that you will suddenly become better. You really have to analyze whether or not people are opening it, responding to it, and how many of these people are actually scheduling a meeting. If you're not really analyzing your data and gaining insight from it, then cold email is not going to work for you. However, if you do have the intent to become better at cold email, and you actually learn from all the emails that you send and learn from every campaign, and learn how you can increase your conversion rate and get more meetings scheduled, then of course you will be a master when it comes to lead generation. So when I'm talking about improving, I'm really talking about improving the research phase, meaning really figuring out who exactly is a good fit for your product or service and narrowing down on that niche. And then from there, it's the execution side of how can you send more emails, get more people to open it, get more people to respond, and get more people to schedule meetings. So when you improve this process over campaign, you're going to get a lot better at this. And in the beginning, maybe nobody is going to schedule a meeting with you, but then after you keep doing it and you learn what works and what doesn't, maybe you'll have a higher conversion rate when it comes to the people actually scheduling a meeting. So with that said, that's everything we have to cover when it comes to understanding outbound lead generation from a funnel perspective. And so now I'm going to see you guys in the next lesson.